So let me go ahead and record it, and then getting that started late, but at least I remembered. All right, so I'm not afraid if we're down tight to spread it out. Like we're so built to run the football and stay in 11P or bigger and go right at you. But I think sometimes, especially if I know personnel's coming, I like if I can keep the same bodies on the field and spread you out now, I like to do it. And if we're going to do that, we typically are going to keep our three-man snag game even down tight. So we'll be here to the corner. We'll get him to the flat. And we teach our outside receiver in these situations, if you're getting pressed at all, you treat it like a slant right now instead of a snag. And then we'll work the backside snag. And then down here, a lot of times we'll go ahead and just protect. So we'll we'll take the backside matchup if we think we have it. And we work two releases with our kids for these situations. We work a diamond release where we want to sell the fade hard, rip back underneath, which is what the kid works, kind of works here. And then we have a second one that we will work as well. You can see down at the bottom, even the kid, it's not a very good diamond release, but we want to stem that outside as much as we can. So, we like doing that. Some of the other things, so we run a ton of same side split zone type stuff, and we'll take some chances and we'll pop the tight end off of it. We'll try to fit him in there. If we don't think the edge rusher is disciplined enough to split him, but is going to take his outside shoulder, when we watch film, then this is one that we like to carry, down for our goal line, short yardage, and 2-point stuff. And here the quarterback hangs the kid out to dry, and he makes a hell of a play and does a nice job holding on to it. But we like that in those situations, and what we do is we tell the quarterback it's all about this safety. If he's over the ball, which he's going to be most of the time, if he's over the ball, we're going to work the outside slant. But if we get leverage for us to hit the pop, we're taking the pop, no questions asked. So that's one of the things we've used in the past. Kind of give you – so this has been one that we use as a setup play over the years. We use compressed formations, period. I like them down tight because I think, my kids are good, but – if you can be physical in the perimeter, my kids are going to struggle sometimes. So getting in compressed sets, we feel like we can get guys out of being physical in their coverage, and give us better releases. So we'll do some things here where we'll sprint out, we'll set the edge with this guy, we'll put him on the corner, and the quarterback screws this up. He's supposed to snap it, and we're trying to get a race to the pylon, and we're reading it low to high, and we're gonna sprint to it. The quarterback lets him get set and then waits 4 days before he snaps the football, and it messes up all of our route distribution. He waits, and then the tight end doesn't handle it very well and ends up an incomplete. But we like that concept, and one of the reasons we like it is we have some things that we will do on the back side of it now. Let me find it. Try to put a little – so we'll go back, and just like everybody, man, this is nothing fancy. But once we've shown that a time or two during the season, we like to come back off of it now and leak the tight end out the back door. This is from 2018 season. We had shown the sprint out into that smash concept twice, I believe, going into this game. So we come out of it now. We show the same thing, and we tell the quarterback if the flat's open, take the flat. It's an easy touchdown. If it's not, you ride it out and trust that he's going to be there, and just throw it where throw it where it's going to be incomplete or a touchdown. It's an easy one for us to work every week. Those two things, very easy for us to carry, and we just tell that tight end you just got to be patient as hell. But those things have kind of been good to us.
When I was an OC, we did that exact same play except out of unbalanced tackle over.
We will window dress it. We'll go 2x2 bunch. When I was in pro style, we would do it under center. I mean, I'm with you, man. It's a build the sprint out and then build the throwback off of it, right? No matter how you build it with motion, how you choose to window dress it, keep the rules the same for the kids. It's always just so damn easy to do. We're, again, like in compressed sets, we like mesh down here. And I know there's guys that hate mesh, and we're an R4 team, and Dub loves making jokes about mesh. And we don't run it a ton in the open field. It's a very situational play for us. And we don't read it the way that a lot of true air raid teams read it. The flat is our first read. So whether we're swinging the tailback or here, you'll see we're starting in 2x2. We're going to motion him across. So when we distribute the routes, we're going to put him in the flat. He's going to be our first read. Our second read is going to be the corner. And, it doesn't fit into our true route principles per se, but we're going to try to work the mesh, and we're going to take that third read in the mesh is going to be kind of our rush route. But we never get there. I mean, that's in 3 years, in the 15 times we've called it, we've gone to the backside mesh once. It was zone, and it worked perfectly, and it converted the fourth down. So, it's an inexpensive play. I think to use it from a lot of different formations, and we carry it one way each week, period. Whether it's 2x2, whether it's 3x1, starting 2x2, motion to 3x1, it's in. The question is, how are we getting to it? We're not going to do it from spread out. It's just not who we are. And so we don't think it takes as much time as a lot of people think that it does to consistently rep. So, we'll run it this way. I mean, that's a game winner right there. Last year to take the lead. Here it is in an earlier game from a previous season. Now we're doing it out of straight up 2x2, no motion. So we game plan it. Sometimes we'll put the back on the shoot. Sometimes we'll swing him, and it's all based on what we see on film. But we get him on the corner as our second read, and then we're setting the mesh on the backside. But again, we're reading the back first. Nobody takes him. Let him go get in the foot race, And we've run it both ways. We'll put it on the hash and run it to the field. We'll also put it on the hash and run it into the boundary. It doesn't bother us at all, especially when we think teams like the pressure from the boundary. That's one of the ways that we like to use mesh down there. But we carry a version of mesh almost every freaking week. Just like the throwback that we showed earlier, because there typically is some type of a throwback in for us. Same deal. Another sprint out that we've used in the past is a version of like a sprint out smash, where typically we'll go to the corner here and we'll work the pivot route underneath. Or we'll switch it where the next week we're going to inside stem, push, get to the corner. We're going to go step on his toes, break him down, and try to create the natural rub. And then we're just going to try to flood from the backside. So when we do that, we'll leave the tight end backside, let him be front side. And, we're just setting it up. Same thing. If the flat route's there, take it. If the flat route's not there, turn. Make it an easy throw that can't go the other way. This one obviously is a first and goal, I believe, and not a 2-point play. But we carry it as part of that package. Just again, always very simple stuff for us. We've got some other things that we kind of like down there. But I'm not doing anything crazy. So here's some of the things that I've been looking at in the off season, things that I've had in before and maybe not done a good job of or haven't had a chance to call. One of our favorite short yardage plays in general is we're going to run our same side mid zone or our split flow mid zone. And so we'll do it with our jet motion as some eye candy. So what we will do is give me a second. What we'll do is and what I've seen a lot of college teams start to do is off the same look, they'll go and crack and basically rub with the outside receiver, and they'll come out of the fake and throw the swing out here to the guy that they're faking the jet motion to. So a lot of college teams RPO that, and if any of you guys RPO it, I want to hear about it. In my mind, we do enough of it that I'm going to get a feel for what's happening out there. And I feel like, by the second half, that's going to be I'm going to be able to make that a play call and not put it on my quarterback to read it. Do any of you guys run a similar look to this, or whether you RPO it or it's a called thing?
The only thing we do that's close to this is we'll run a high cross with the Z and the X.
Yep.
We'll fake the fly sweep and let those two run a big cross. And if neither one, if it all gets jacked up,
let him be the check down.
Yeah, because they all leave him alone.
For sure.
But that's as close as we come to any. But I like where you're going.
We do the exact same thing, Wes. And so we do it off that deep. What I've been looking at is, you're behind the line of scrimmage. So if they want to pass it off to this safety, let your Z go crack him, because you're throwing a screen.
Yes.
Right. And if they're going to chase it, we tell him, you teach him, you're cracking safety or chaser, and so if there's a guy chasing with motion, that becomes very easy for who you're going to block. It doesn't have to be a kill shot, and all the quarterback's got to see is, does the corner run with him?
Right.
And then even thought about doing it from like an unbalanced look. And now whether you double crack it or whether you arc this guy to let him now go take care of the corner and crack the guy over him. I think there's some different ways that you can kind of handle that. But I think that's a very easy short yardage play. It's a very, because it fits into what we do. Obviously, if it doesn't fit into something you do, it may not make sense for you. But off of that jet action, because like you said, man, if he gets the ball, they're coming like a bat out of hell. But the second they don't think he's got the ball, they leave him. And defenses don't do a great job of staying on him and bodying that guy up. And I don't think I do a good enough job, and I don't think a lot of high school guys or college guys do a good enough job of using him as an outlet in the passing game, or in this case, using him as a screener.
So one thing that we did that's similar to the picture that you have up, Pete, is like a midline wham package.
Mm-hmm.
And just true midline out of gun or out of pistol. And that would probably be what we'd show first, or the first and second week or whatever, and then, progress into a wham out of it, right? Where instead of letting that guy come completely free, now we're sending that Y to go ahead and lick him.
Yep.
We want to come right underneath it. And then the third piece is literally exactly what you have there, and pretty much just stole that from Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He runs the hell out of midline and wham.
Yep.
And just the package of that ends up working pretty nicely when you have a quarterback who throws it like a second baseman.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things here. Even if you wanted to read the end, right? If you have a kid that you like in the backfield as a runner, if you wanted to arc him to here, read the end and let this just be the third man in your pitch phase, and treat it more like an option or more like a true RPO, you definitely could.
100%.
The fact that it's behind the line, it's a damn screen. We can go crack, we can go block whoever, and I'm calling this in situations and against teams where I know I'm getting man to man.
Right.
I think it's a very easy addition for us. Kind of a similar fashion, showing, like I said, we like compressed, but showing also that kind of X overlook, working a bootleg off of it. And if you watch the New Orleans Saints very often and you watch really a lot of NFL teams and some college teams, what they're doing now is they're giving you two flat routes, right? And I think down on the goal line is a great way to do it. And with a lot of those guys, the X is going to be the second guy in the flat here. Well, I'm going to cover him up. And my thought process is, let's make a defender that is probably outside leverage right here, matched up on this Y, make him run through all this traffic to now go get out there, right? So let the X set the edge, tight end, whoever you want to use, get a body in the flat right now, come out of the fake, and you're looking flat to deep to flat. And you create an easy triangle for him. You don't need a ton of space to work. And I think that you potentially, instead of even running the corner, I don't like the idea of losing that route in the progression, losing that corner. But if you're worried about the trash, you could obviously have him go kind of pick the chaser right there. Yep. But I think it's another way, instead of sprinting out to it like we like to do down there into some type of a smash, is boot to it now. I feel like at any level that, you're going to have a hard time getting this player to match this. If you don't get the initial read in the concept, I feel like they're going to struggle to match this guy as he crosses the formation. And obviously the quarterback's always got a chance to run as well.
And we actually did a vert switch off of that. So if it wasn't unbalanced,
yep,
right, and we would put Z off the ball as well, like a cluster formation or a bunch formation or whatever you want to call it, and then Y on it. We would drag Y over and then do a vert switch out of Z and X with H late.
And y'all did that down tight?
Yeah, we would do it super tight, almost like a tight end wing form.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, let me ask you this. Have any of you guys ever – I have one kid, and we worked it, and I never got comfortable enough to call it, but it wasn't because of him. It wasn't because of timing. It was because of these guys, right? There was always an O-lineman that was losing too much damn ground for me to be satisfied. Any of you guys ever ground the tight end on the line of scrimmage and then bring him back behind the line into a passing route? I've seen teams do it.
Yeah.
Have you had success with it, Wes?
Oh, no, I've never.
Never.
In the last 2 years, we've played a team that does, but the kid that they had doing it is going to A&M to play tight end. So that doesn't count. We don't all have one of those. Right, yeah, I've never had one of those, but I watched the dude do it. But no, I've never brought behind the line of scrimmage.
I love the idea of it. It just, again, my thing was there was always just a lineman in his way. That him having to create that depth, and then there being a lineman that was giving up enough push that he had to get even more depth. Just by backing him up 2 feet, he just gets out a lot cleaner. But I would love to be able to do some things there. And then kind of the last one, I just kind of hypothetical. I like motions. I like shifts. I like making high school kids think when they're supposed to be in man coverage in particular. So this is something that we actually we worked the piss out of it and never used it in 2009, 2010, 2011, 3 years in a row. We would bunch the right side, just look like normal doubles to the left, motion the tailback out, get him set, and then follow it up with bringing the H across at a pretty good tempo. So all we were doing, and this was something that I got from when I was at Ole Miss, and I want to say it was my last semester when Orgeron and was there, and it was something similar to what they were putting in. But essentially, we're motioning him out to try and pull a corner or, pull a back or whoever, probably going to be a corner, which means we can isolate an inside guy now. All he's trying to do is get to the back end zone and work flat, right? We tempo this motion. As soon as he gets, past the guard, we're snapping the football, and we're just reading it like we would spacing, and we're wiping this tailback off the map. If we like the matchup on the backside, we take it. Otherwise, it really what we always told the kid is we're looking flat to the Z, and the Z knows he's pushing 5 yards, turning around. The ball's not out. He's working hard back to the outside. Because spacing, it was a concept that we ran down tight. So we just added this as another way for us. I'll tell you why we added it in 2008. In the playoffs, we went to I think, 4 overtimes. I don't remember. And we ran out of shit in 2-point conversion. And we called halfback toss, which had been a pretty successful play for us that year. And that was, I think we were like 10 of 11 on it, whether as a positive play. And that was the one negative, the most important time of the season, and we lost the game by 2. It was just a way for us to, again, take a concept we have, how do we window dress it, and how do we make it fit for a situation where we feel confident in what the defense is going to give us. This is, again, just something else that I've done before. Haven't maybe put it into practice, but things that I've always had kind of in my book. And I know, I think Tripp, I saw you on here earlier. I know you used to do some really nice stuff where you would trade the tight end, follow it with the motion, and do some stuff for your 2-point conversion. You know, so anybody else? It's somebody else's turn. I've already talked more than I wanted to tonight.
You sure you want to share?
From you, Banks, man, I'll take it all day long.
So I'll start here. Let me do this first, if you don't mind. So first, kind of piggybacking off of that, then I'll show some clips.
I just made you a co-host, so it's on you.
Oh, great, thanks. So can you guys see my whiteboard?
Yeah, it's popped up.
All right, so off that play you just showed, I got two things for you. So first, I'm gonna show you Mazzoni, and I know that Rex can come in with this one play that my favorite 2-point play. Haven't really ran it in a while. Need to practice more is the issue. But so I got this one for Noel. He'll bunch him up, and he runs the follow concept. So you're gonna get a dig here. He's gonna be in the shallow, and then he's gonna be on that angle route, right? And then you got whatever your backside beater is here. You're talking about 2 points. So we already know when teams see bunch how they like to play us, right? They're going to try to bring somebody here, corner here, somebody inside, right? So he sends the back in free motion. What happens to this guy? So when this guy widens out like he has to with the free motion, they got this guy chunking deep. He jumps on him, and this angle route comes right back underneath wide open. So that is something, we call it follow. We call it a follow. And that's something that we practice 2 points. Something else that I've seen before I kind of get into some clips, something else that I've seen teams do, you talk about spacing, and I'm a big spacing guy myself. And you talk about it from this squeeze H-back set. There are teams that will run this spacing. He still got inside. He still got his spacing directly. And they swing the H-back, but he's blocking for the swing screen to the B-back. It's kind of like a lead block. So that fits real easy to what we do. So I'm kind of excited to try it.
So, Terrence, with that last one, and I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit, are you going to read that swing to Z on the spacing, or are you going to read it Z to swing?
Probably going to read it Z to swing.
That's what I think too. Sense. Yeah, no, to me, I think that's what makes the most sense.
And so these clips are kind of – can you guys see these clips?
Yes, sir.
All right, now they're kind of out of order because I just had to kind of go through my Dropbox. So I'm going to kind of find the ones that make the most sense here. All right, so probably the best thing that we did, and this is why we had that conversation last week, Pete, as you can see here, we kind of in the 12P personnel. And this is that foul I was asking you about. And this is real simple. We had a quarterback that can throw it. If you only got one, that works. If you got two receivers that can go get it, it's fine. And it's basically inside zone RPO with fade. And so, I mean, we get here, and that's all it is. We're going to run inside zone RPO with fade. The box is full of man coverage, and the quarterback's on this. He picked his favorite guy.
It's a good ball.
And I mean, it was not nothing dramatic. I mean, you'll see it, same thing.
My thing with that play, Terrence, that I like down tight is it's not a high rep play, right? It's right. Again, it fits into what you do. Now, you could argue that the fade may not be a high probability throw, and on a 2-point play, that's not what people want to see. But that's part of that's knowing your dudes and knowing who you're facing.
Right. And so, I mean, you see it right there. That was against Grayson doing they're still in their heyday, but definitely during the heyday. So the other play I kind of wanted to show is something else I stole, and that kind of comes back with your motion. So here it is. All right, and this one is kind of hard from 2-point. You like it deeper, but you can run it, but you're going to have to make it a quicker fake. So I'll show you the play as it is in our red zone. But if you're going to run it closer, you got to make the fake faster. So we start off with 2x2. We're going to send this guy back in orbit motion. We're going to fake the zone slice, and then we're going to run the wheel route to the running back. So you'll see he comes back in motion. They fake the slice. And the running back is forgotten about.
Yep.
So if you're going to do that tighter, I have another clip of it somewhere. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it tighter, you have to abdicate the fake faster. But I mean, again, you bring him in motion.
So on the post routes you've got there, is he trying to win on the post or is he trying to go rub the safety?
Both. I mean, he is technically the number one option.
Right.
But he's told to win by rubbing the safety. He's told to win by getting the safety. What we told him is, if you don't get the ball, then you should go ahead and put your hands up in the air as a touchdown.
Yep.
If you do get the ball, that means that the safety has run clearly out your way as fast as possible. The only other thing that we do that's not really 2-point, but we fell into this one. If you get time, I think probably the best one-on-one route beater is not a fade. I'm with you guys. It's easy to say throw the ball to your dudes when you got them. People ain't always got fade guys. Right? So I've been there. We like to run that post corner. And so this is a little deeper, but this gives you, depending on where you're at. And again, that guy runs that post corner and he's forgotten about it. And we max protected. And, the only other thing that we probably do, is one thing we talked about, Pete, and I would have to go find video of that when I go back to the whiteboard, is I run a boatload of slot fade. That's like my number one quick game concept. And so you've got this guy running the fade. He's got a one-step slant, and he's got a swing. And we'll throw that anywhere, even on the 2-yard line, because that fade is, if that fade wins, it wins. And what would happen is if these guys get close to man coverage, this slant route, which is one step, usually came wide open.
Yep.
They would collide into each other because everybody's trying to depress the top instead of. And I get it because you don't want to make it the easy throw. But by running that fade, the key is that the outside receiver has to go outside and try to come back underneath that fade,
yep,
which gives you that rub. So, those are things that for us that has been real successful outside of, I love, outside of, we were talking about earlier with Tracy, just getting it down single wings. Don't let Dan ain't in here tonight. Don't let Dan hear me say that. But getting in single wings is kind of, do that too. Get a single ring and run power.
Okay, so you bring that up, right? And guys, if you don't, what he's referring to is Tracy Malone, the good football coach in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, put up a question today on Twitter asking about what you do down deep in the red zone. And got a lot of responses and kind of people going back and forth between stay in what you do, be who you are. They're the ones that got you to the dance, so dance with them. And then there's others that, like me, if I've got the bodies, I've got a package. It all depends on what personnel I have at my disposal. So everybody kind of had their own thing. One of the interesting things I thought was Jeff Mullen, the Big O system, I think is what he goes by on Twitter. The Big O system. He tweeted out, he said, the math says in approximately 1,000 season calls, you'll only be on the +3 to goal line 15 to 20 reps. So if you got 1,000 calls in the season, less than 20 reps, will you be 3-yard line or in? So his thing is use one personnel grouping, one formation, best players on the field, put 2 of the best OL at the point of attack, start with your base play, carry 3 answer plays. 4 plays you can rep in 5-minute period all season long. And it's obviously it's such a simple thing, but I think I think that idea makes sense. And so like Terrence, you're saying if you can get in a single wing formation and that's going to be what you do, make it what you do, right? And make sure it's protected.
Yeah, so like I found one of the tracks and we ran it. I found one of the open field flips, but I'll share it because I think it's indicative for the situation. This is open field. So we got, like he said, I agree with him. We maximized it. As you can see, I mean, this is open field. So we ran it anywhere we needed. So at Tri-Cities, we didn't have much, but they got an offensive lineman that is a 3-star and another one that signed JUCO. We put both of them boys on the right side, and we just snap it, and we just going downhill.
So, Terrence, how much time went into this package for you each week?
As Coach said, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Thursday. We ran power, book sweep, and sprint out smash. So from this package, this is the power version. And the quarterback should have hit it more downhill. We got a receiver. We got a slot, supposed to be an H-back, and a running back. And then we've got 4 linemen and 2 backside. And the guy backside is eligible. That's how we keep the corner over here. He's eligible. But, we got 3 guys over here. And we basically getting it, and it's supposed to be power, and we going. We ran power, we ran book, and then we'll sprint out, and then we'll run smash. And that was it. So once we called it our Tebow package. And so that's what I call it every year, Tebow package. And usually what I try to do is I try to get the dude the ball.
I know I talked to it's funny because last year going into the season, I talked to so many people that's essentially what they went to in short yardage. They had 2 passes, 3 runs, period. It was 5 minutes, maybe twice a week at most. And they used it down tight. They used it in the field. It's just never been something I've done, but it makes complete sense to me.
If you guys have, and many of you guys, you head coach, your offensive coordinator, you get that time with your head coach where he wants the quote-unquote competition. And so if he wants competition on a Tuesday or a Thursday, man, make it the 3 going in or the 5 coming out. Don't make no doggone, practice those two situations from a head coach perspective, kind of like you said about Jeff, can be practiced in 10 minutes twice a week, Monday and Tuesday. I keep the same pretty much 4 plays coming from inside my 5. If you play me inside the 5, you're going to get an inside zone RPO. You're going to get a damn play action, the play action that you taught repeat without the jet motion with the post and the climb.
Yep.
And then I'm going to run 4-man snag. Those are the only 3 plays I'm carrying when I'm bagged inside my 5. And you know me, I'm trying to go get 7 points right now. I ain't trying to waste. I love Bobby Bowden's philosophy inside the 5 and stuck with me my whole life. If I'm inside my 5, somebody's scoring, you or me. So you better back them up, because if you bring them tight, we're trying to get all of it.
Go full Chris Winkie, hide the ball, show your back to the defense.
Yeah, hey man, and go get her. And so I think you could do that. I think you could do that inside the 5 too. It's just quote unquote best on best.
Yep.
Because once you get inside that 3, it is what it is. And I've been victim, like you say, of being too cute on 2-point plays. And that's one thing that as we continue to grow as coaches, I'm like you, how can I stop being cute?
I think that, and that's one of the notes that I actually kind of wrote down at the end of the season for me personally was because we do competition periods. We do always give it a situation, whether it's on the 5 or it's 3rd and long and we're going 5 plays, backed up, whatever it is. We rep those plays on Thursday. Maybe you rep them Wednesday and Thursday if you're playing on Friday, whatever. A lot of times you don't necessarily get them a live look. Those competition periods, look, let's be honest, we can game plan all we damn want to. You don't know what the hell you're going to get in those situations. High school defenses are going to line up and coordinators are going to start rolling dice and bringing guys from wherever. There's really well-coached teams that have been in the system for a long time. You know what you're going to get, and you can game plan and do some certain things, but you can't replicate that look at practice. And the key is getting your kids and your quarterback to play fast. So I think doing those, even if it's not against your opponent's look, but doing them against your own team in those competition periods, it's a great time to work coming out. It's a great time to work going in. It's a great time to work 3rd and long. 3 situations where you're going to get exotics and you're going to get aggressive defenses. So that's a good point. Thanks.
You've been a defensive coordinator, so you already know this. If you have to face a team that's going to run unbalanced formation in the boundary in a goal line package, I just wasted 15 to 20 minutes of your practice time, bare minimum, that you've got to prepare for that week. Oh. And you defensive guys, when you was a DC, it was never just 20 minutes. If you saw that, it was probably 40 minutes.
No, I mean, there were always certain guys that if I could wait and work goal line on Thursday morning in a walkthrough, I did. But there were always 2 or 3 a year that I had to start, if not on on Wednesday, sometimes on Tuesday. And Tuesday it would be a 5-minute throw them in at the end if I had time, kind of like I'd have them scripted, have them carded, and it was, hey, we've had a good day, let's roll these 5, or it was, we've had a shit day, let's fix what we just messed up. And I mean, Tripp was always one of them when he was at Walton, because he had 87 tight ends and fullbacks to line up and run mid-zone at you.
Yeah.
A bunch of unbalanced formations. I'm with you, Banks. When you start rolling unbalanced and you start adding shifts and motions down there and you do some different things, no matter how simple you keep it as an offense, you take practice time away from something else.
Right, and also this last play, and somebody else please chime in. This is the play one of the plays I was talking about. Found it. Here we are, and we're gonna run slot fade, and as you can see, Northgate they made the mistake. It wasn't a great play call. Northgate had 2 guys running to each other trying to take out the fade, and that guy just came right underneath and was able to catch it and follow the end zone.
Let the rub happen naturally.
Yep. So, anybody else want to take the wheel?
Wes,
we can hand it to him.
Wes, you want to? I know you've got some goods.
All right, let me.
You were a co-host, my friend.
All right, can y'all? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna let Willie Cannon in. Okay.
Yeah.
It just popped up on my screen. All right. This is. Well, we may not be. My screen's froze up.
It doesn't like you all of a sudden.
Well, that's not just today. That's a lot of days. Here, give me just a sec. Let me pull this back down.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach.
See if I can figure out why. Somebody else talking. Let me see if it works now.
Anybody else got anything? Or?
Yeah.
So, Wes, let me ask you this. I know we've talked while you're working on it. We've talked a little bit in Texas. Obviously, your hashes are a little bit different than the rest of us because y'all play on college hashes.
Yes, sir.
And we've talked about kind of what the give and take is when we're back in the regular field. Does that affect you at all in your 2-point or your short yardage goal line stuff? Like, do you feel like it's an advantage one way or another?
Yes, it's very much an advantage to us because, like right here, and we're gonna our left tackle is going to do this wrong. We have some rules. If we score a non-conventional touchdown, we're going to go for 2. So if we return a kick, a punt, a fumble, or an interception, we're going for 2.
I love it.
And there is 1 minute and 12 seconds left in this game, and we've just returned the team in white, Abilene Cooper, just scored to go ahead. We returned the kickoff for a touchdown, and so instead of kicking the extra point and playing for overtime, we're going for 2.
I love it.
It screws it up, and we give up a sack. But this is just, it's a throwback. Just like what you showed, the dude's wide ass open.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, I'm a firm believer in, that 17-year-old screwed it up. Now, what pisses you off is that same kid screws up in our playoff game too on the same play, which makes me not a very good coach. This one, we call McKinney, and of course the film was late getting started, but we take the back out opposite, and then we use our tight end to cap the edge, and we're going to run a natural screen type action out here. We don't block a fucking soul, and we still complete it.
Run that back one time, Coach, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, here it is. Now this is it.
Okay, full play here, yeah.
Yeah, okay. This one, same scenario. We're behind 13-7. It's late in the third quarter. We intercept a pass and run it back for a touchdown. And our kids never even stop running. As soon as we cross, the head coach looks at me and he goes, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I said, "Well, you're a little late to second guess yourself because they're out there in the huddle." But this is what we call this McKinney because we stole it from McKinney High School.
You can send in the back week. You just affected 3 players right there.
Yes. And the cool thing is the guy that's lined up outside the tight end, he tightens down.
Yeah.
And then it's just a natural rub. We're just going to outrun him from the corner. My 6'3", 240-pound quarterback right here, you'll see him here in a play where he runs it in and leaps-ish. But, that's all we're trying to do is just get there. But that's one of our favorites. This time we're going to put the back opposite, and we're just sprinting, and I really can't see because I got to put these down below. There we go. This, we're just running to the edge, but we're making everybody think we're going left.
Sprint away from the back and work the single receiver.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like sprinting to a single receiver. If you've got a kid that's got some wiggle and can create separation, sprinting to a single receiver, it's hard on the defense, man.
Yes, it is.
It really is. I've had teams that'll get in 3-by-1 open and sprint to the single receiver when I was a coordinator, and it puts you in a bind because if you've got an overhang out there, he's got to force it when he gets sprint his way. So you get nobody underneath that out route or comeback. You put the corner on an island, and if the matchup's in your favor, man, it's hell to pay.
Okay. We also, when we score a conventional touchdown, we're always going to line up in the gate. And we like to run it out of this, but it's the same play again. This guy you see coming in motion, our video guys, I'm not going to talk bad about him, but I get very frustrated on Saturdays. This kid that came in motion was lined up behind the bunch, or behind the lineman. And so when he goes over, he made 1, 2, essentially 4 guys move.
So that's the number 6 right here that you're throwing it to, is the guy, the motion guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they don't know who to cover.
Right.
But, we practice, and it's the same thing. It's 100 different ways to run a flood. Now this one we got from Clemson, and the ball was supposed to be on the left hash. The referee set it down, and he was tired, so he wasn't going to move it, or at least that's what we tell people. But we're going to bring the guy from the outside in, and we're going to run a pick, and we're going to hide number 3. He's going to widen and come back under. We get a little cross, and you just bang it to him right there.
Yep. As similar to what Terrence was talking about with the follow.
Yep. Just
a little different.
Yeah. Instead of doing it from spacing, we do it from a condensed.
Yep.
But that's, that's when we like to. Now here's my big boy. Showing, I have to show this every time I do this one.
I don't even understand how y'all even doing anything at football.
If you got a lineman that's ever played quarterback, he can appreciate that right there. He was every bit of 240, I promise you. Here, let me show you the one that we ran last year that our filmers completely missed. But I drew it up for you. How do I make myself?
We're looking at your face.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I'll lock it in on you. You're the man. Go ahead.
We call this Virginia, and it's the same play. And again, we got it from Virginia, but that's out of 2-back gun now. We're going to bring the motion from outside in. He's going to push and turn back out. And I stopped my drawing. He's running to the flat from the backside. He's capping. And all we're trying to do, he cheats up a little bit. He gets lost in the trash and comes out down here nice and easy. If we'll run Virginia reverse, because this guy's running across. We bring him in motion, bring him back behind and pitch it to him. This guy starts and gets into the wall, and we throw it back to him. We ran Virginia. We never got to the reverse, but we ran Virginia this year. And the kid number 2 turning back out. He was standing back there on the back pylon, and we hit him. And yes, I did say a bad word to our 64-year-old filmer because he missed it, and I had to apologize on Saturday. But I got to go to church for.
I like the scheme there. So when you're snapping that ball, Wes, how close do you want the outside number 1 to number 2? Are you letting him
back in that same bunch formation we've run all those other picks out of?
Yep, I love it.
He cheats up just a smidge, but and just so he can beat it across, he's capping. The one that I think you showed, Pete, where you had the racer and the chaser both going for flat. It's similar,
Yep.
And this guy just he picks the first thing that he needs to, and then just turns around right there on the goal line. But we really thought we'd throw it to him, and we ended up, for some reason, the corner came off quick, and that back guy was open, and I don't know why.
Well, it makes sense with the other stuff that you've shown. You kept getting guy in the flat right now. You bunch up and get the guy in the flat. So, it makes sense if they're trying to alert it right now and suddenly pass it off. And I like it. I like it a lot.
And if anybody's interested, we also, for our short yardage, we get in it ends up being tackle over with 2 backs onto that side. We call it ram and line, but we always start in a soul train line. And, and the quarterbacks or not the quarterback, because we take another running back and put him in there, but he says shift, and they all just run down and get lined up, and we're either running blast to the right or counter to the left. And that's been really good for us down around the short yardage too. But we carry every one of those into games because and what you said earlier about I remember reading Brian Billick's book where they broke down their Super Bowl year, and they had a 3rd and less than 3 11 times in the entire season. And so to me, that's the same as being, down inside on the 3-yard line. It can be 4th and 3, but you don't need a bunch of plays in that area because all you're going to do is end up screwing yourself up, and that's my opinion. And I like what Coach Banks was saying a minute ago too about, here's our 3 things, and this is what we believe in. And to me, that goes right along with what I was saying about when we intercepted the pass against our biggest rival, and shit, we were going for 2, pregnant, having the baby. And thank God it worked because it'd have been my ass if it hadn't.
That's there have been a few times where it'll be a go for 2 or a 4th and short, and the head coach will be, hey, we can call a timeout if you don't like it. And every time I just go, I like it. I don't have a damn clue. I know what we've practiced. I know what I expect to get, and I don't know if the kids are going to execute, right? And I can call a timeout and think myself into a worse play. But if I put all that time in on Sunday, the weekend before, and put all that time in practice, and that's what my kids have been told, this is what we're running, then let's run it, because I can't control how they execute. You can't control what your left tackle does, on the throwback right there. So why? I mean, were there going to be some looks where they're maybe bringing 2 off an edge and it's about to get ugly? Yeah, it happens, right? But I think that's another reason, practice those situations fast so your quarterback knows how to respond.
Now, do any of y'all have a head coach that has a punt offense that is greater than your regular offense? Speak up if you do, because I'd like to talk to you. Because we no shit. By week 11, we had 7 different fake pass run plays off the punt.
And how often were they called?
Oh, no. We run them all the time.
Yeah.
Against South Lake Carroll, we had 4th and 3 on our own 17, and we faked a punt. No, he ain't afraid now. We will kick your ass and fake punt in a second. And the kid drops it. The kid's wide open. He may score a touchdown. And I really think he got so excited because he was so open, the ball just hit him in the dick and he dropped it.
We have not done it in a while. Let me let's see what I'm looking for here. So I'll say this, then we'll get back on topic. Can y'all see my whiteboard?
Yes.
So once upon a time, even though I was the quarterback's coach, I begged myself to also be a part of our punt team. And so me and the head coach schemed up a little punt. So this was our punt formation. We were straight up full wide. We was usually 2x2. We give you 3x1. We give you jet motion. We could pull guys down in to protect if you were unbalanced or overloaded to a side. We could pull guys down in to make you overload us just so we could fake it. But we every week we carried 3 passes and at least 2 runs. And this kid, the personal protector, we wanted him to be physical. If you couldn't throw, you couldn't play that spot for us. That was literally, okay, you got to be able to block and throw a pass. That was like our – if you can run, even better, you know. And because we were only calling the runs if the numbers really dictated it. But I kid you not, there was one game in I don't remember 2010, 2011 or so where we faked 2 punts on the same drive and faked 4 overall in the game.
Sweet.
It was a thing of beauty. I think we lined up the first time we're backed up, ball was on the left hash, and they overloaded the field, and we brought him over, got him set, and we ran power. We freaking just kicked, and we down, and we pulled, and we freaking ran power right there and got the first down. The next time, literally 3 plays later, exact same situation, but ball's more in the middle of the field. We get the same look. We motion him across again, and you can see their kids watch the fake. This dude steps like he's going to block out and pops. We pull everybody. We kept everything the same. This kid caught the ball, took 2 steps, and freaking T-bowed it right there, and it was like a 15-yard gain. And then, the next drive, it literally I've never seen so punt safe in my life. How they lined up. And so we punted it away, but we came back later in the game and we ran it one more time and we threw a different fake later in the same game. But it was we felt like we had to do it to win the game, and that stuff was always going to be in for us. And back before they made the A11 stuff illegal, I was on the staff that had some really cool – he worked it only on air. He worked it at the end of practice, and it was like a pride thing. Like we had our punt team, we had our mojo team. And so if you were on mojo, it was like a big deal. And he would work it every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, at the end of practice for 5 to 10 minutes on air. Kids would have their shoulder pads and helmets off. And it was all about him knowing what he needed to see. And that was the hardest part, was you never know what you're going to get from the punt block. And so, but the reality was anytime we got or near midfield, so basically from the -40 to the +35, we were going to be in mojo. So we were punt if we were backed up, mojo if we were near midfield, and if we were inside the 35, we were either kicking a field goal or going for it. So it was interesting for sure. Anybody else got any good 2-point stuff? I know we got a lot of dudes on here that have shared some good stuff with us over the last several weeks.
Pete, I'll share something small here.
Yes, sir. Let me, Corley, let me.
Hey, this is a family-friendly show.
Listen here.
Corley, no, he got a ton of clips.
Sorry,
I did. I don't anymore. I got kicked off my last school, and they won't let me have the stuff anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Look, there's – I know some of you have switched over to other formats and aren't using Huddle anymore. If there's one thing I can tell any of those damn companies, make a way for when coaches leave for them to easily get their video onto another system, especially when they don't have the job when they leave. You know what I'm saying? Without having to freaking download it, it's a pain. Let there be a damn cloud somewhere where it's saved until you need it. Anyway, I'm off my high horse.
No, you're good. So we had a package that we just called Hammer, and you'd get 1,001 different looks, but this was pretty much what we'd see the most of. And the only thing that's different that other people haven't talked about is we coached up this was a different dude than a quarterback. This was a different dude than a running back. This was usually like our most dynamic linebacker, right? So we literally just called him the runner. That was your job, is you are running through people. And I'm a run guy. We all know that at this point. Like I could, whatever. But what we coached him up on is we identify the gaps, alpha, beta, gamma, and then we had Allie and Billy backside, Allie, Billy, and Charlie backside. And he just came up to the line of scrimmage. He saw where someone wasn't. Okay, right here in this picture, he's not in the beta, right? He's not in the strong B. So we're going to motion this H. He's going to stop right there. As soon as he gets there, we're snapping the ball, and we are inserting. So we are blocking out from the right tackle over. We are blocking down from the right guard over, inserting H, inserting F, and let's roll. Now, the next time after we beat them on that, they're probably going to give you something a little different, right? Let's say they go, with a true nose shade, bring them over, and that mic still stays back there. So now we have an alley because it's super simple. Down, combo, block this dude, insert into your alley gap. Now the F has to hop over, catch the ball, and now your R is your lead. Essentially single wing, but we only called one. We literally just called hammer. Everybody knew to line up where they lined up, and we always lined up with it to the right. Always lined up with it to the right, and then they just had to pick up their gap, and that was it. And whatever they heard, block down to the left, block out to your right, and let's roll with it.
Did you ever get a lot of teams that started trying to like pinch and cross space and do stuff like that?
Our splits were so daggone tight to tight with it that it didn't matter much. I mean,
Yeah.
we were telling our H and our F that you are clearing a path. There's no avoiding anything. If the biggest dude in the world comes through, you are responsible for him.
So, but body-wise for those guys, is that the same H and F you always played with, or
The H
are you
was pretty much
personal?
usually the same.
Yeah.
We might take one of our skinnier offensive linemen and put him there, a little dynamic kid. But our F, he was our true fullback.
Yeah.
I mean, but the R was really the only guy that we had to bring out.
It's good stuff. I like that, Coach.
It's super simple. It was pretty cost efficient in terms of time and stuff like that. And we did it first thing on Tuesdays for competition, and then walk through on Thursday, and that was it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any passes, like any pops or anything off of it?
So we had two other plays off of it. We had a counter, really like a old scissors from Flexbone.
Yep.
Right? Where now we'd bring the strong tackle. He'd kick out last man over here. We're down around. And when the R is coming, now we're trying to attack outside. All we're doing is basically false stepping with this little here we go with the picture. We would just false step back here, and it'd be an under handoff.
Yep.
So he would, your H would insert where he left basically. And then we just had a sprint out series that was whatever we needed that week. If we were going to get man, it would change. If we were getting, whatever coverage we were going to get, it would just, we didn't have a set pass for it. Obviously, God bless, here we go. I try and take that L and push him as vertical as I can. Do a little under with that wing and push the H outside. That was always the goal with it.
Yeah.
However that happened, didn't matter.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Coach.
It's nothing crazy. It's super cost efficient, and I got to run the ball the most out of it, and that's all that mattered to me.
If that what makes you happy, bro, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything good for the cause?
Pete, I got a few things.
All right, I love it. All right, Ben, you are good to go.
All right, let me see. Share screen. All right, can everybody see that now?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this team we're playing ran a ton of man, and so we ran, and they were cover zero, so we ran a ton of our 2-point plays because that's what we practiced. This first one we ran is called stab, and as you can see, we're in the stack with 2 and 3 instead of 1 and 2, so that changes up rules for some guys. I'm just going to see if it'll play without being too choppy. Can anybody see that pretty good?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So all that is we just motion the back out, and they were real bad about they would let that linebacker go with them. And all we're doing with this guy is he's just running straight, and he's going 1, 2, 3, sticking it, and that plays a disadvantage to their rules they were taught, catching and taking the first thing out.
Yeah.
We call that stab.
Mess with the banjo.
Yeah, it messes the banjo up. So
if nobody goes with the back, is he part of the progression, or is the quarterback locked in on that?
Because we just had so much film on them. They were going. We were trying to help our protection because, like I said that back we had, he wasn't very good. So we knew that they were going to take that linebacker. So we just told them it's either going to be the slant now or hit that post is going to be wide open for a touchdown. But we run that as 2-point play too for us. Another one is, I mean, most of you guys, you kind of said it already, but all we're going to do, and this guy doesn't do a great job, but it's basically just mesh right here and the H back out. We're play action and getting the H back to the flat. If you see our 10th grade wide receiver out here doesn't do a great job. If he just runs, keeps running, we got to play. He'll just run right at that guy.
So but you're treating it like true mesh. You're getting the back past the line and not necessarily trying to treat it like a screen.
No, yeah, he's basically it. In the other way, it's just basically our boot play.
Yeah.
But we're just telling that guy. We told him rub this week with it just to get that guy because, like we said, they were prone to play man every play.
Yep.
So that was just our 2-point play that we ran during the game. Like I said, we just carried all our 2-point plays and added a couple of wrinkles to it because they played so much man. And here's the backside view. If it gets that guy blocked or it just chips that guy, we've got a big play. Here's another play. We call it chaos. Again, we're going to motion the back out, so you're going to get a quads look, but it's a 2-point play for us. If we were down with another team that doesn't do what they do, we would leave that back in and play action it. But this guy is going to take basically slot fade. He's clearing here. He's 1, 2, 3 back underneath.
So, yeah, that ends up being really almost like what Terrence showed earlier.
Oh, yeah, I got on late. I didn't see it. So,
yeah,
that same play?
Well, he showed it from a condensed set, not out so wide.
Yeah. And the only reason why we got out so wide was because we were just trying to create
more space.
Yeah. Right, and you can see it opens up really nice.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Coach.
Yeah, and then we run it. We ran it 4 or 5 times, but it hit every time we ran it. It was our go-to play that whole game. So that's all kind of the stuff we do.
That's good stuff. Thank you.
Yep.
Red, are you still on here? He was on here earlier. Is he still on here? I don't see him. So one thing, Banks, tell me if you remember this. We've talked a little bit about was, and again is from Noel, but using that line route, like they call it, out of 3x1. So it's kind of an interesting concept, right? Doing it as play action, doing it as RPO, treat it however you want. But, down here where you're getting some man-to-man coverage stuff, they'll literally take the outside receiver, particularly in 3x1. He'll take one step, and then he's working flat down the line. And they're not throwing tunnel, and they're not trying to make it look like tunnel. They're building, some type of almost like a smash concept out here, right? And you're just, eyes on the corner. If the corner squats and doesn't take it, this guy's gonna come underneath and leverage. And the thing is, we're not trying to hit a home run, right? We're down tight right here. If he chases, it's opening up some route side space on the outside. I'd love to see. It's kind of one of those things that I'm kind of going and looking for now at teams that are using it, because I'd noticed it a little bit before, but never really. It almost didn't make sense to me until I heard it explained. But Terrence, do you remember a little bit about kind of what that conversation was and what that looked like? Or have you used it? That's a negative, Gus Ryder. Pattern is full. So I think it's something interesting, literally you're just bringing this guy back underneath with the idea being that, if the corner chases, you're opening up outside space for this guy to work a move and boom. And if the corner squats, you're coming right back underneath this defender. So,
what kind of speed, Coach?
So that was one of the questions because he wasn't showing us film on it. He was kind of talking through it. I don't.
Yeah, I got to find film. It's full speed because he's coming straight down the line. Either that corner backs up. So let me share it again. You had it, Pete. Like what he'll do is they primarily like to run it from. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
It's primarily ran from like this H-back set, or you know what I'm saying. He's like piece of hit RPO it. This guy's got like a speed out, and then his route is right down the line. This corner's got an option. Either he chasing right now or he backing up. If he backing up, then you throw it right now. He's coming straight down the line. I mean, he comes and bam. As soon as he comes down the line, he comes. And so you're going to line him up a little wider so that he can catch it and then try to get straight upfield. But I mean, it's a speed out thing. I would have to go through clinic talk to find film.
It's one of those things, right? If you watch NFL, you watch a lot of college teams now, they'll get under center down there tight in the spread formation, short motion the guy and stack them and throw that real quick key screen, right? So to me, it's taking that concept, but now not forcing the guy to block. Because that's the thing, you have to be under center for that to work right? It works for those guys because they get the ball out in a hurry because they're under center. If you're not going to spend time under center, it doesn't make sense for you. Using the line route, now instead of asking number 2 to go block, you're putting him right now. Let him go just quick, speed out, and try to beat. And especially if you've got a condensed split, whether you're short motion or you're lined up there, and if you go back, if you've got those two guys close enough together, where you're here, and now you're talking about some type of an alert. I don't know if it's better or if it's worse. That's what I can't kind of make up my mind. But if you just right now here to here, if you get those guys too tight, I feel like it works into their favor. So you got to keep decent spacing, in my opinion. But now, so as soon as he chases, you're just taking the out or the, I don't think you want the corner. I think you want to roll that thing over and beat him to the sideline. And if the corner hesitates at all because he gets action his way, it creates a real nice easy throw. Where now, particularly off an RPO, he gets a chance to catch it right now, and all he's got to get is 3 yards. We're talking 5 yards right there. So it's safe if you get zone, and it's safe if you get man. It's one of the things that I'm kind of hunting film on right now. So, but
the first time I saw that was the New England play where they ran that
yes.
line, 2 guys up. I'm sure you've seen it, but there was a game, I can't remember, it was last year, where they ran it, but they had that fake off of it kind of. They brought that guy in, and they just ran that guy on a quick.
Yes.
Hesitated.
Yeah, he hesitated and then hit the out right now. Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but I remember seeing it. Yeah. But I thought that's an easy build in. And if you could build it out of 3 receivers just like you can. Out of 2. Does anybody have a go-to rub route that you like to use in those situations? I've tried my ass off to work rub routes, and other than just simple slant flat and simple smash combinations, I've never felt like we've handled them very well. One that we worked all summer last year and kind of got away from, and is really not a red zone route, but just a rub route, but just a straight up red zone route. One that Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma use a ton is they'll inside stem and work the back pylon right here and just give him the option route and step on the toes and either beat him inside on the slant or stick your foot in the ground and get back outside. And we just read it 1-2, and we worked it all summer long, and I just never got comfortable with it. So then we changed it and said, okay, if we're not comfortable with that, now let's work more of a true rub route type situation. And so we would go step on the toes right now, and we would slant him and then come right behind him. And then, I don't know. I've clearly done a poor job coaching rub routes, is what it boils down to. So does anybody have a go-to pick route or anything that you like to use in those situations? I know, Terrence, you showed earlier yours, and I like that one.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, you know, that's pretty much the best that I got.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it's an easy one too. I mean, I think that's a real natural one. That's good. And then, you know, like the one you talked about and the one Ben just showed where you're bringing the guy on the follow route. I think that's a great one. Because again, I think it's easy to teach for sure. So, well, fellas, if nobody's got anything, I'm going to shut this puppy down. Appreciate y'all stopping by. You know, we were doing this 2 nights a week. We kind of cut back to 1. And our numbers have dwindled a little bit now that it's kind of funny. We were all out of school. Nobody knew what the heck to do. And now we're kind of back in ball a little bit, and people are busy and people are starting to take vacations and some of that stuff's going on. But we've cut back to 1 night a week. We may pick back up in July and do a couple 2-night sessions. But I appreciate you guys coming. I learn something every week. I take a bunch of notes. You know, like I said, this one recorded. If you need a copy of it tomorrow, just hit me up and I'll make it available for you. But I appreciate you guys coming. If anybody's got a topic for next week, holler at me. I know I've got a short list of some ideas, but Wes is who actually gave me this one tonight, and I jumped all over it. So if you got an idea, man, shoot me a message, and I hope to see you guys back next week.
Thanks for sharing, guys. Enjoy.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care.
Thanks, Pete.
Yes, sir. Thank you.